Hello everyone. I have been wanting to film this unboxing video so that I could open up this deck that I purchased recently. It is the Oracle of Shadow and Light by Lucy Cavendish, but with artwork by Jasmine Becket Griffith. This is my very first Lucy Cavendish Oracle deck. I have a few of her decks on my list thanks to Owl Moon 513 Racine. Her channel, she always shares a lot about Lucy's decks, and so just from because I enjoy Racine's videos and her taste, I guess, in decks and oracles and tarots, I want to give these oracles a chance. So over the last few weeks, maybe months, I have been reflecting on how I tend to gravitate towards tarot a lot, and I don't usually gravitate towards oracles. So I was thinking about why that might be, and in my reflection I realized that I really like the comfort of the system that tarot has, and since oracles are kind of open, that's something that maybe I don't feel as comfortable with. But I was also reflecting on how oracles can really help you tap into your intuition, since they don't have that system like the tarot does. So I have been a little oracle obsessed in the last few weeks, and so I've been looking at a lot of different oracle decks, reviewing the oracle decks I already have, and starting to use them a little more. So I'll do a separate video a little bit about that journey to working with oracles more, and I will get on with the unboxing. So I found this deck online at Books A Million, I think it was a website, and I got it for a really cheap price. So I was able to get it for like $13 with free shipping, which I was really happy about. I always love scoring a deck for not a lot of money. I also usually tend to buy used decks because they're just well, sometimes they're not less expensive than buying them from Amazon, but sometimes buying something that is used is better in my mind for the environment, and supporting someone who's trying to change or get rid of something that they don't want anymore is better than contributing to Amazon per se. I still buy a lot of things from Amazon, but if I can avoid Amazon, then I will. So as I mentioned, this is the Oracle of Shadow and Light, and here in the back it says it includes 45 cards and the 160-page guidebook, Wisdom for Misfits, Mystics, Seekers, and Wanderers. No more shall the strangelings hide in their shadows. Welcome to their mysterious world of magic and beauty, where dreams are stranger than reality, but also likely to come true when you awaken your power. So this is not a new deck. This has been around for a very long time. And before, I never gravitated towards these decks. Like the artwork, it was not one that called my attention. So as I mentioned, just through watching Racine's video, that is how I became interested in working with these decks and giving them a chance. So this is the box, and it has a very nice yellow interior. The box is very sturdy. It comes with a book that is a pretty good size, and it has the card description, message, like a brief phrase message, then a little bit more about the card. The Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch Speaks, and then a divination message. So I'm really excited to just get to know Lucy's work Lucy Cavendish's work and work with this deck. So I'm glad that it doesn't have shrink wrap and that it's just this paper sleeve. So the cards have this smudge. I wonder if it's from when they were produced and packed, probably. So like I mentioned, the artwork was not artwork that I gravitated towards, and I know some people are fans of the artist even before she was doing decks with Lucy. But after working with the Chicoli Tarot, I think that I became more open to just different kinds of artwork. I don't have a preference for like only hand-drawn or only digital art or no collage images. I am not picky in that sense. If I feel interested in a deck, I will get it if I can, no matter the artwork. So we're just gonna flip through some cards here. Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch, Fairy of the Divine Hand. And I like the keywords that are here so that you can get a quick message from the card without needing to go to the guidebook, although Racine suggests that you really do work with the guidebooks as well. And I guess Lucy Cavendish also highly recommends that. So this deck, it's the Oracle of Shadow and Light. So hopefully there's a good mixture of shadow and light cards, so you can use it for shadow work. And before I keep going, let me show you the card backs. I really like the card back with this keyhole image, and with my new interest, or maybe it's not so much of an interest, but with my new work that I have been doing, just learning more about the goddess Hecate. Whenever I see key images or keyhole images, I think of that goddess. So I really like the colors. They have like a dark, spooky feel to them. Also, the cardstock is kind of thin compared to another oracle, like a Hay House oracle, like the Energy Oracle cards. This one feels a little more thicker, but I don't mind. They are glossy, and hopefully you're able to see the images even though they have that glossy finish. But already just looking at the images, there's a lot to get from them, a lot to reflect on. So here we have the Sea Beacon, Fairy, Guidance, but where will it lead you? Snow Angel, Trick or Treating, Autumn is my last chance. Poe. Time for change, to learn something new, to use technology and gadgets with wisdom. The eyes on these images are very intense. 3 Witchy Sisters, Eclipse Mermaid. I saw recently that someone made Jasmine Becket Griffith tarot deck, because I guess the artist put a lot of her artwork out in the public domain. I'll see if I can link that video, because I'm interested in, after working with this deck and seeing how I get along with the artwork, maybe getting a few of her other decks. Next on my list, I would want to check out the Fairy Tale Oracle, also the Alice in Wonderland Oracle, and the Le Vampire Oracle deck by Lucy Cavendish. Dried Flowered Fairy. So I really do like the muted and dark colors in this one. The borders I don't mind. I think that sometimes, especially because they have this like frame look to them, I think they add to the card. And for some cards, I think it's important to have a border because it separates the card image from the rest of the room. So for example, the Mariel deck, that's one that I appreciate the borders. And I know some people have trimmed that deck because they don't like borders. And I do prefer borderless decks. But for the Mariel, I feel like the border, the dark border, is really important to containing the energy and the image. I don't know, but that's one feeling that I get from certain decks with borders. Angel de los Muertos, transition to the spirit realm. I really like this card. So this kind of face artwork reminds me of like some cholo, like gangster art. Strangely lonely, holding on way too tight. The Violet Duchess, and it looks like all of the people are women. Amara the Menehune, Aloha Healing. So it looks like there's a little bit of different cultures incorporated here, which is nice. The Fairy of the Highlands, the Angel of Alchemy, Voodoo in Blue. So I know I mentioned I like the dark muted colors, but when they have these pops of color like this blue, it does also look really nice. And it does have this like emo goth feel to it. Oh, this one was Lantern Fairy Sewer Mermaid. Your sensuality is beautiful. The Three Fates. Strange Valentine. Death and the Maiden. Shallow Grave. Yeah, so there's a lot of different symbols, I think. Some cards have more symbols to look at than others. Like here, I'm just looking at the butterfly with the skeleton, and then some of these like roots and other leaves. The Two Little Witches looks really familiar to another card that I just saw. I'm probably not gonna find it, so I'm not gonna try to look. But for the most part, I feel like in this deck the images are different, so there's not a lot of repeating ones, which is nice. Sea Storm. Dress of Alchemy. Something that I think is a little strange is how like the bodies, they have this like childlike feeling to them. That's a little strange for me. Or like a petiteness to it, and their head is a little larger. And a Broken Heart Fairy, Candy Cane Angel. And then I think the majority of them have this like sad look to them. I have yet to see one that's happy. But their gaze is very like they have a deep gaze. Like I'm getting the feeling they're looking straight at whoever's using the cards. The Angel of Time, a Clockwork Pumpkin, Nautilus Princess, Ghost of the Past. This one reminds me of the Hocus Pocus movie. Pink Lotus Fairy. So there were a few fairies and a few witches and a few angels. Fairy of the Green World, the natural world needs you. Witch of the End of the World, an important end and a new beginning. So this is the unboxing / first impressions, first reactions. I'm looking forward to working with the deck and just pulling a card each day to get to know it, to see how it reads. I'm not sure if it will be a good daily deck card or if it's more for specific questions. I'll also be reading the guidebook to get more familiar with it, and then after like a month or more of working with the deck and seeing how I get along with the artwork and the guidebook, I would really like to, if I do get along with it and I like the guidebook, I would like to purchase a few of the other decks and try them out. And I don't know if you can see my crystals here. I'll share them with you now. This is Moonstone, gray Moonstone, and I learned yesterday that this one, which I bought, is Zebradorite. It's actually also a type of moonstone with smoky quartz inclusions. And I also, because I've been learning a lot about crystals, I also learned that Moonstone is their real name, I guess, is orthoclase feldspar. So this one is an orthoclase feldspar. And I briefly read online about this one, and it's supposed to be really good for soul retrieval and past life recall. So I'm excited to work with this one in that way. I have been using Moonstone and orange selenite. I bought these two together, and they were actually sold like this as a pair, and since then they've always felt like they belong together. So I always keep them next to each other, and when I use them or work with them, I work with them together, and they just feel like they belong together. So that happens to some of my crystals. For example, I have a piece of iolite that really likes to hang out with my other piece of petersite that I think I did mention in another video. So anyway, those are my crystals that I have here today. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing and first impressions, and I will see you on the next video.